Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy pot lovers, wherever you might be, whatever time it is where you are. Welcome. If you're a returning visitor, you know me, I'm Pat Webb. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Today we have kiln opening number 27. I've already opened Chubbs up and let him cool off because it was 10 o'clock, 9:45 when he shut off last night. So 7 o'clock this morning, he was pretty toasty still, so I did a crash cool. Anyway, I forgot to take pictures of the kiln shelf. We have some successes, some failures. The entire kiln load was pretty much experimental, trying new things. Shocker, I know. That's what I do. I try new things, and eventually I will have some tried and trues that I keep in my repertoire. But for now, this little bowl here is Coyote's Fire Opal here. And on the inside, I did Fire Opal as well. And then I did dots of running hot chowder in a pattern. And then I did Louisiana Bayou over top of it. And I don't know, the sun is coming from the wrong way. We're entirely in shadow, so I will take better pictures later. I did Louisiana Bayou in a wavy pattern on the outside. I will put a pre-firing picture right down there in the corner. And I did running hot chowder in here and then in swoops on there. So that is that one. This was an experiment, a failed experiment. Not that I don't like the way the glaze turned out, but it was supposed to be just a translucent blue. And what it was about 1/3 of Amaco obsidian and 2/3 of Amaco mixing clear. And I had a black engobe over the whole thing. And then I did some sgraffito flowers and I did some brown engobe, dark brown engobe. And you can just barely see the sgraffito flowers. So this, you can see my mark down there where I only did one coat. And you can see the black engobe. The lid was already cracked. Like I said, this was an experiment. And that's on white clay. So you can see how the obsidian went to kind of a midnight bluish color, which I don't mind, but it wasn't the effect I was going for. All right, this one was a big fail because this was dipped in rainforest and I did way too much, and you can see where it bubbled and so forth. And what is not a fail on this is that this is pearl white over the rainforest down to about here. And I really like what the pearl white did over the rainforest, if I'm not getting too much glare on that. And then inside was pearl white. And that's the Spectrum Pearl White and the Amaco Rainforest. And both of those, the Pearl White I dumped in a bucket. I got a gallon of it, so I'm using it as a dipping as well as a brushing glaze. All right, this was a little tester bowl. It is on, and by the way, all of those pieces were on Laguna Frost porcelain. Everything in this load, except for one bowl, is Laguna Frost. So, and I take wax with a little bit of alumina in it and wax all the bottoms so that I avoid plucking. And then this had a texture that I just took a little thin tool while it was on the wheel and squiggled as it was turning. So this is opal luster on the outside, and the inside is speedball lavender mist with running hot chowder dots over it. And I did not put anything over the running hot chowder. So I kind of like what that did, but it gave kind of a yellowish color. So if you're averse to yellow, don't do that. Would I do this again? I don't know. I am trying to find ways to use that speedball lavender mist because it's not my favorite glaze. It's not terrible, This was the bowl that was done. This is probably V-Mix, judging from the yellowish color. This was done back in 2022, and I just never glazed it. Well, actually, I had partially glazed it. I had poured floating blue in and then dipped the floating blue down to here. Then I put running hot chowder dots on the inside and around the rim. And there's a good angle where you can see the colors. And then let me pull my notes out so I don't tell you wrong. So, medium bowl, floating blue, dots of running hot chowder, 2 times autumn purple inside, 3 times autumn purple on the outside, and then sponge dots around of opulence ultraviolet or opulence violet. And I have that as a dipping glaze. But I just took a round sponge on a stick and did dots on the outside to see what it would do. And I don't know that you can really tell that the violet is in there. So, but that turned out pretty. Okay, the next one is inspired by Sally Roper. And this is a self-watering flower pot. So I will show you how it works. I don't like the glaze job on this, mostly this part right here. If I had just done the cordovan there and not put the fig ash over it, I would have been okay with it. You put a wick in the hole in the bottom of this, set it in there, and then you put water in here and it wicks water up to your plants. So it is a self-watering flower pot. This is fig ash. This is cordovan. This was dipped in alabaster, and this is the Coyote alabaster I have in a dipping glaze. And that crack was already there, by the way. It does not go all the way through. And just to FYI, that is 1 coat of alabaster, and you can see where I put my name on the bottom in black engobe. So that is good to know. This part here was cordovan with the fig ash over it. I don't like how that turned out. I like some of this right here where they met. I am getting some crazing on the ash glaze. So if I had just done cordovan here, I think it would have looked okay. But I'll probably, I don't know if I'll reglaze the bottom piece or not, since it's cracked on the inside. It'll probably crack all the way through if I refire it. So I will just sell it as a fugly piece or put a plant in it and keep it. I don't know. Okay, next we have some test pieces. This is SW515. Get it in front of the camera, Pat. Aqua Gloss. And that is one of the new Mayco glazes. Let's see if we can get it to... there's some... You can see the color there. I hope. I might have to color grade this. And then this looks like autumn purple, or I don't think it's textured autumn. I think it's autumn purple. And I want to say this is bougainvillea or shallot. So, and lastly on this shelf, if I can get these off without dropping stuff, this is Coyote's Canary Yellow. Love that glaze. This would be Rose Gold. Let me see if I can get this off of here without breaking anything. So that is Rose Gold. We have a little heart or a little rose. This was Canary Yellow with probably autumn purple in the center. And I did that double-sided. I did the sprig and I made 2 of them and stuck them back to back. And I'll make little pendants out of those. This is the Opulence Violet. And then on the back, I did a dark flux and a light flux. I don't know if you can see that clearly. I may have to take some pictures in better light. I like the light flux on that. It has kind of gold tones in it. And then this is sage and milk glass, sage over milk glass, and this one is milk glass over sage. So I like the milk glass over sage. The sage over the milk glass is not as, it doesn't make as much of a difference in the sage. There's not any reaction. The sage just overpowers the milk glass. But the milk glass over the sage makes some nice effects. This one is pearl white on a butterfly. And that'll hang at an angle like that. And this last one, I'm not sure. I want to say that is, I didn't write it down. I may have pictures back in my notes. Anyway, I'll have to work to get that off later. I am on a time schedule and I am supposed to be at work. So, cones on the top shelf. We got to just about a cone 6. Okay. I don't see any major disasters down here. Looks like we got to a hot 5 on this shelf. I would have liked to get a solid 6. All right, another yarn bowl. This one, the other one I did manganese wash and wiped it back. This one I did dark flux around the top rim. I'll probably just do manganese wash and a heavier coat next time. And then it's alabaster down here to stop the runs, which it did. This is Ceramic Shop satin clear. It kind of left whitish spots, which is okay. And that's over top of black engobe. Pearl white on the rest of it, gloss white, Amaco mix and clear right here on the nose and on the eyes to give it a little pop. And I put a little bit of dark flux right there just for grins, but it looks like it got ate up. But the dark flux apparently will turn the pearl white to a blue color, which is good to know and useful for future loads, but not the look I was going for. I prefer the manganese wash. All right, these are part of that sake set that was in the last load. And I will put the colors on the screen. I think they turned out gorgeous. There are 4 of them. All right. And I really don't have time to go through all the glazes. This could have used heavier glaze on the inside, so I may redo that. I will put the glazes on the screen. This was done with sprig molds and as a test. Turned out cute. Uh-oh. Got a stuck one. All right. That ran a little more than I thought it would. This is Ceramic Shop's jewelry, which is a runner, and pearl white, which is a runner. This had butterfly transfers on it, which got covered up, which is interesting because jewelry is a clearish glaze, translucent, has a little bumblebee on the bottom. Came out okay. All right, this again was the satin clear, and note to self, do it very thin. And then one of the new speedball glazes on the inside, I think. And then pearl white on the rim. Oh, actually, we did get a good solid 6. That's a 6 and a 7, not a 5 and a 6. Okay. This is the new buttermilk with the violet on the top. That's the new jasper with the violet on the top. This is ethereal blue with violet on the top. Tropical teal with violet on the top. Wisteria, which I did not know was a satin. And then this is wisteria with fig ash over it, I think. Laguna Frost at the top. And then, wait a minute. No, frost porcelain. Okay, yeah, fig ash over the wisteria and then wisteria. This is the variegated lapis. This is blue moss. Both have the purple at the top. Okay, I meant to put this up on a stilt and I forgot because it had glaze on the bottom. That's what I get for loading the kiln that late at night. Bougainvillea and micro pearl, and I'll put the glazes up later, but yep, not a total loss. All right, last shelf. These will be travel mugs. The lids will be in a later load. Experimenting with different kinds of lids. This was inspired by Nat Mud Magic. I used different glazes from what she used, but kind of a beachy scene. This is that ultraviolet, which kind of has some sparkle to it, actually. And then pearl white over it. I like the way they play. And then roses on the rim. If you want a video on how I make the travel mugs, let me know, and I will put it up. All right, that did not turn out at all like I expected. I had smoke, Mayco smoke down here. It did obscure my name. Pearl white, 1 coat, 2 coats of Enchanted Forest. Still not loving the Enchanted Forest. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to find a way to use that is a little bit better. Again, another little test. Shot glass, toothpick holder, condiment dish, whatever. I'll put the glazes up later. This is the new Midnight Glaze, 1, 2, 3 coats. The ultraviolet on the top. Teal agate, 1, 2, 3 coats. Ultraviolet on the top. Gossamer Drift, 1, 2, and 3. Ultraviolet. And Champagne Quartz, 1, 2, 3, and ultraviolet. Kind of like that Champagne Quartz. Get my face out of the way. The Gossamer Drift is just kind of meh. I don't know, it might be all right in some combinations. This one is green tourmaline, which is purple, go figure. And green tourmaline with cactus ash over it. And last but not least, these are popcorn bowls. So this was alabaster poured in and then dipped to here. And then obsidian dipped to here, dipped the hole outside and in here, and I brushed some in there. And I didn't get as much of the oil spot effect on that obsidian as I thought I would. but I did get some. And then on this side was the alabaster over the obsidian. It kind of obscured, maybe I got it too thick, but it obscured my chattering down here. You can sort of see the chattering there. Anyway, what this is a popcorn bowl. Go in, baby. I'll have to sand that a little bit. The glaze got a little bit thick. So your kernels fall down through those holes and into the bottom. And so you can eat your popcorn without getting kernels. And then after you're done, you dump the kernels out. So I will have to sand that. I got a little bit too thick on the glaze with the alabaster. But that's how that's supposed to work. And one more test tile. That's the black copper. And black copper with coffee ash over it. That's kind of cool, actually. I'll play with that black copper with the coffee ash over it. And then cones. 6 was just starting to go. Good solid 5 on the bottom. And that one fit well. One more popcorn bowl. And this was, down in Sally Roper in Jamaica. This is her Opulence Sea Spray and Blue Monday combination. And that showed the chattering a lot better. And it did not run. She told me that they would run in combination, but it did not run. It showed my name on the bottom. And this fit much better. So, and this one doesn't have any cracks. So this one will go up for sale. The other one I will just have to use. Oh, darn. Okay, guys. Sorry about the truck in the background. I'm next to a store. And they're delivering ice, so that's a refrigerator truck, a reefer truck. I like the way that Opulent Sea Spray breaks over the texture. I probably could have gone a little bit heavier on some parts of this. But, yeah. All right, so I have to go to work. I am late. I will edit this and put pictures of everything at the end. And I thank you all for being here. I appreciate you liking and subscribing. Your support means a lot to me and encourages me to do more videos. If you want to see how I made those popcorn bowls, let me know. And I'll put on the screen the inspiration for that because I'm not the first. Doing my take on somebody else's idea, which we all do in pottery. So anyway, I hope you have a great day wherever you are. Make the most of it. Enjoy life. Get your hands dirty. Chase your dreams. Challenge yourself. And stay centered. Bye, y'all.